This is a reading of Gifts from the Gods, Ancient Words and Wisdom from Greek and Roman Mythology by Lee Slung Larson. This chapter is called Fury. Fury, noun. Violent anger and rage. We must both have cried out aloud when our eyes met. But while mine was a shrill cry of terror, his was the roar of fury like a charging bull's. Robert Louis Stevenson, Treasure Island. The Furies were three goddesses of vengeance, wearing long black robes fastened around the waist with snakes. They hounded lawbreakers, especially murderers. Serpents twined through their long white hair and coiled around their arms. Blood dripped from their black eyes. They lived in Tartarus, the deepest, darkest part of the underworld, where they persecuted evildoers after death. But they came up to earth even if they were summoned to deal with an injustice. When the two daughters of a human named Skedassos were brutally killed, he pounded the ground with his fists, calling to the Furies below for vengeance. Hearing the cries of the grief-struck father, the Furies lifted their heads and listened. Then seized their whips, they flew out of the underworld and emerged through cracks and fissures in the craggy mountains. As soon as they caught the scent of the murderers, they gave chase. The men, seeing the dark, flapping shapes approaching, ran in terror, but they could not escape. Calling down curses, the Furies lashed their whips until the murderers bled. They tore snakes out from their hair and curled them at the killers' backs. Down the snakes slid, winding, twisting, but never biting their victims. Instead, they exhaled poisonous fumes that affected the men's mind, and the men began to rave. Refusing to give them any rest, the Furies chased and tormented the murderers until at last they went mad. Such was the punishment of the Furies. Even though the Furies existed to avenge evil, all people, good and bad, were scared of these goddesses. For who among us has never done anything wrong? When someone makes you mad, they infuriate you. And when you're filled with anger, you are furious. Also, when anger overcomes a group of people, they are collectively in a furor.